Okay, hi, my name is Caroline, and I was bouncing it around to do a movie review, just complete auditory on the movie Soul, because I had just watched it literally like 10 minutes ago. Um, and I have this thing where when I'm thinking through these things, I write it down in my little journal, and that's how I process stuff. So I thought I like to make videos and I want to do a movie review. I think it'd be super cool. Um, so I thought might as well do my thinking process out loud. So here we are with my dry face, curly hair, and just my voice. Yay! Okay, so first things first, I wanted to talk about the animation. The animation was gorgeous in this film. I mean, there were moments when it took me out of literally the animation and I thought it was real life. When he's playing on the piano, when he's literally the texture of his suit or the instruments. It was incredible to see that kind of level of detail and how far we've come in animation, because even 2013's Frozen, if you take a look at the difference between the first and the second film, the incredible difference of textures and light adding and contrasts are incredible. And so they literally stepped it up so hard in the movie Soul. Um, I mean, the cityscape, the literal only difference was just body shape, the extruded body features. In the main character, he had this big nose and more of a pear-shaped face compared to his mom, and then compared to his friend Curly, who played the drums, um, who was more square. Okay, and so I'm going to be referencing a lot of different characters. So I recommend you watching the movie first before even listening to me talk. This is solely just for my own thinking, but I really wanted to get this out. And yes, I am wearing a Baby Yoda, or Grogu as some of you fanatics call it, shirt. I love The Mandalorian. Pedro Pascal is my idol, so we're just gonna move on from that. So I think the next thing I want to talk about is voices, I guess the audio. Very clear audio. I mean, you could just imagine Jamie Foxx literally speaking into the microphone and them using it. And that sounds like out of body, but it's the clarity of the voice that really makes it, because here in a phone camera you can hear all these excessive sounds, and you can hear me talking, but it's more like almost foggy in a sense. It's kind of bringing you out of the camera, in comparison to the movie, where it's like you focus on the voice and his character, and then it just combined really equally. And then going from there, the music itself. I was watching a video specifically on the composer. I don't remember his name right now, but they actually used his finger movements of the music, the sounds, which is again the whole point of really human-like animation that they had. So those kind of fingerprint sounds were really brought to life. They matched the specific keys, which I thought was incredible. I like to play piano, so it was super cool to just kind of have a character that I could relate to when getting lost in the zone, and kind of imagining, because that's something that they brought up, was this in between the physical and spiritual level of being passionate about something. And it's literally not just music, but it commonly happens in music, but playing tennis, or literally just in the zone living life, which goes into the main point of the movie. I would have to say I get the point, and I think it really hits me hard, and this is what I would usually write in my notes journal, is to stop hyper focusing on finding your purpose in life, your thing that you do better, because for me, I live, a pretty flat life. I am fortunate and very blessed and privileged but I don't have that like one thing that kind of pushes me up or down. It's just kind of the same. Um, but what I do notice about myself is seeing the beauty in the small things, seeing like the way something looks one day, or the sounds just as you're falling asleep. I think I have a pretty hyper focused, I guess, sense, so that I notice all those things. I'm very observant. I'm a complex thinker, so I just kind of like observe it and then I think it. And so that whole point of the movie really hit hard for me. The whole passion thing. I mean, that was a wonderful thing to bring up, especially at this time right now when applying to colleges. It's so strange to kind of try to figure out, what are you going to do? What am I supposed to be super passionate about? And then take it into a career. You could see that the jazz musician literally did take it into a career, his passion when he was 11. But he wasn't excited about it. The thing that he was most excited about was literally those little moments in life that you sit and watch a bird, soar into the sky. I think that was a really fun and powerful message. And of course, you can always compare this movie to its predecessor, which was Inside Out. They're not related, but they do have similar themes of going into these inner feelings, either the soul or emotions. And you can say, well, it's not as deep as that one, it's not dealing with memories, but they both have the same fundamental message, which made Inside Out so successful, was stopping and focusing on these moments or memories in Inside Out's case, and really truly feeling it, changing it into a different perspective, or in Soul's case, just like focusing on it and eliminating things that you could potentially take over your life. Because if you noticed, a lot of these things that they were talking about were these passions that got people so obsessed that they became drones. There's a specific scene that actually stuck out to me, which was a man who had, I think he was working in some stock field, I'm not exactly sure, but he was hyper focusing on it. He's like, I have to get it done, blah blah blah. And they took away that mentality, and they just made him focus. He said, what am I doing with my life, which is super powerful to the movie that they're trying to convey. Like, what are you doing with your life? Are you hyper focusing on a passion, or are you living everything? Which is why there was such an elimination process of all these hyper focusing monsters and turning them into free spirits. So I think the animation, the sound, and the composing of the jazz music, which is a category of music I love. I love jazz music. Saxophone is my favorite instrument. You literally find me listening to all sorts of jazz music, even offshoots. So that, and then just the meaning behind, is something that I'm going through specifically. I can heavily relate to. It was a awesome movie. I wouldn't say it was life-changing in terms of, I wasn't sitting there and I was like, yeah, like I can super get into this movie. I was actually very taken out of it at the beginning. It was not something that I was truly like ready to sit down and watch, but I still did, and I loved the message. I think the animation really excited me because it was so detailed. I think that's a really important part in making a film, a good film. And so I think that's, I've heard they rate movies 4 out of 4 stars, which confuses me why it's not 5, but okay. I would probably rate it a 3.5. Not something I would watch again, but something I would definitely think about for a while, especially just that one meaning. You don't necessarily need to find a passion that sparks your entire life. You need to find these little things that spark your entire life. Because I have a ton of hobbies that I love, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I chose one to super excel at. I'm just going to choose all of them. So thank you very much for listening to me ramble about the movie Soul. It's on Disney Plus, free to watch if you have a subscription, so enjoy!